booktube, how you doing? Last week Steve Donahue created the books and life tag, and I've been really enjoying watching other people's channels. Other people have taken it on and had a go at it, and it's been a really entertaining tag to watch, and I thought I'd give it a go. I actually filmed it a while ago, but then yeah, just kind of left it and didn't do anything. But then after that I found out that Lukash over at A Cruel Reader's Thesis had tagged me to do it. So I thought I'd just do this little introduction to it, and yeah, thank Lukash for tagging me. It's very cool of him to do so, and yeah, let's go and join Aaron of the past as he is fumbling through the first question of this tag. The first prompt is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a normal person and 10 being the late Harold Bloom. There he is. How much are books and reading a part of your life? Yeah, definitely nowhere near Harold Bloom, number 10. I've seen like video footage of what his house looked like, and yeah, that was a lot of books. I don't know, I'd say maybe I don't know, a solid 7 maybe. You know, to say that the average person, you know, probably doesn't actually read that much. Like, I don't think most people read, so I'd say a kind of solid 7. I have other hobbies and other obligations, so yeah, I'd put it as 7 rather tentatively. Then number 2 is where does your personal library stand right now in relation to the rest of your life? Do you have more books than you ever have? Fewer? How has your library changed? I don't know, I think it probably is bigger than it's ever been. I think it's somewhere between 500 and 600, which I think compared to, you know, some other people isn't that big. But no, I think it is a fair bit bigger than it's ever been. Although, you know, since getting married, there's been, you know, a merger of my wife's books and my books, and so in a way, you know, even, you know, when we got married and put our collection together, and just cover, oh my, that's a lot of books, and then more books have been added, but also I think more books have also been passed on. So it could have been a lot bigger probably than it is, but it's still probably bigger than it's ever been, around, I don't know, mid 500s to early 600s, I'm guessing. And then number 3, take a mental step back and ask yourself, what is the most likely first bookish impression a newcomer would have in your home? I'm gonna cut right now to like a video of just showing you what it looks like when you walk into the living room in my house. So here we go, past my little office under the stairs, open the hallway door, and there it is. So yeah, they're right in front of your face as you walk in. They weren't always, but I don't know, these bookcases do look a bit imposing. We moved into this flat like the summer before COVID happened, and just in that autumn of like 2019, when we were like still having people over and stuff, I can remember one person who was here saying, it's like, whoa, you have like a lifetime collection of books. In one sense they were true. It was a lifetime collection of mine and my wife's up to that point in our lives, but yeah, I'm sure by the time we're retired it will probably be considerably bigger. So yeah, I think they'll probably think that, yeah, we're fairly bookish. Then number 4, how often, if ever, gulp, do you clean or reorganise your books? When it comes to cleaning, don't know, not very rigorous with cleaning, are we? Sorry, Jasmine's right there. We probably do clean them actually then.
I dust them.
Okay, Jasmine says that she dusts them. Okay, there we go. I mean, normally if I'm like going through them, you know, if I'm like just looking through titles and randomly picking books up, sometimes I wipe them or something, and definitely since like lockdown, we've both been spending way more time just in here with the bookcases staring at us. We've been reorganising a lot more. Not just the bookcases, but just the entire room. I think since COVID, we've changed the layout of the living room at least 3 times. So yeah, fairly frequently actually, as it turns out. And then number 5, on average, how many books do you acquire in a week? In a given week? I don't know. It's very up and down with weeks. If I go out, it's fairly there's a fair chance of me picking up a book. Mainly because one, there is a charity shop like maybe less than a 5-minute walk from my house on our street, with just a wall full of very cheap books, and they're very cheap and it's very hard to feel guilty about it, and then you've bought loads and loads in a month and suddenly maybe I'm feeling a little more guilty about it. But also there are loads of like free libraries and things popping up in phone boxes here in Cardiff, and so oftentimes out on a walk you just stumble across a phone box and find loads of books in it, and you sift through it and you find a few hidden gems, and that's been happening a lot over the last year. So I don't know, in an average week, I don't know, maybe like 1 book if you were to like average it out, which is actually, over the course of a year, that's like maybe 50 something books, which I suppose does kind of sound nearly about right, and most of them are second hand, and definitely this year loads of them have been free as well, but yeah, it's actually more frequent than I thought. And then what song is your current earworm? Well, it was until saying that out. So before saying that out loud, I've had a song called Leaving by Hanai Rani, I think is how you say her name. She's like a Polish piano player and singer, and I'll link that song underneath. But then as soon as I just said the words earworm, Dr. Worm by They Might Be Giants got stuck in my head, just like spontaneously. So I'll link that down as well, because that's a really fun song. Then number 7, what percentage of your self-control do you retain in a well-stocked bookshop? Oh man, I don't know, it's very, very, very hard to retain any of it. I don't know, sometimes I do really force myself to retain a certain amount of self-control in a well-stocked bookshop, and sometimes I like limit it to like, okay, you can just have like 1 book, but yeah, there are certain bookshops I go to where the idea of going into that bookshop, like there's a bookshop in the north of England called Barter Books, and it's like a massive second-hand bookshop, and I've only been there a couple of times, but now in my head it's like a little book mecca for me, and so I think every time I go there it's going to be very, very intentional, very planned, and I will probably walk out with at least 1 book, and there's certain bookshops that are similar, that I will plan to go there at a certain time, and it's okay that I get something, but yeah, I think the easiest way to keep in check with my self-control is just to not visit bookshops as often. Okay, and then number 8, do you ever feel the need to take a break from books? If so, what form does it take? And yeah, sometimes I suppose if I've been spending a lot of successive days spending most of my free time reading, I can get a bit of cabin fever, and I do like to go out like walking when I can, and I'm into my music as well, and sometimes doing something like music where, at least for me, when I'm playing an instrument, my brain turns off a little bit, and that's actually kind of nice. It kind of evens things out mentally, um, whereas when I'm reading, it's a bit more engaged. Yeah, I do. It's normally walking or playing music, or you know, other, then there's daily life as well. But yeah. Then number 9, when you meet a new person, how long does it take to bring up books? Probably depends on the person. Um, I'm probably more likely to talk about things that they bring up. I'm not really the kind of person who brings things up in conversation. Yeah, I've never been a terribly good conversationist. So yeah, if they brought up books and asked me about books, then yeah, I'd probably talk for ages, but I wouldn't necessarily just bring it up off the top of my head. Which I think goes into this one. Oh no, it doesn't. Number 10 is, have you ever given any thought or made any provisions for your personal library after you croak? I don't know, I think sort of, kind of unofficially to kind of family and friends, but I don't know, I hadn't thought too seriously until actually hearing this tag about what the fate of like books maybe are, after someone dies. And actually just thinking that, I buy a lot of second-hand books, and, a fair proportion of those books are going to be books that people have just unhauled and sent away to, the local charity shop, or maybe traded in for credit at a bookshop. But also some of those books that I've bought, they've probably gone there because someone's died, which is a sad thing to think about. But maybe some of those books are books that really made my day when I bought them, and actually the thought that maybe there's a chance that like one or two of the books that I own, are bought in a second-hand bookshop or a charity shop, and it's a book that makes someone's day. That's actually quite nice thoughts, and not all my books are going to be books that my family and friends are going to want. So yeah, it's actually quite a nice thing maybe that they end up in a second-hand place. And then number 11 is, are you known among your friends and loved ones for your weird and probably unhealthy relationship to books? I don't really think I am, because I wasn't always necessarily the bookish child in my family. That was definitely the territory of my slightly younger sister, and we were very close, but I was more into my music and into my arts when we were growing up, and I read occasionally, but Elizabeth, my sister, was the one with the book collection. She was the one, when she was a very little kid, wanted to write novels and ghost stories and things, whereas I was just quite happily doodling in a notepad or something, or playing guitar or something. But I think it has kind of increasingly become that my love for reading is it's kind of seeping out a little more, and people do ask me what I'm reading, and do give me bookish gifts from time to time. It's becoming more and more known, but I don't think of myself as that way, as someone who would be known for their reading, just because I was kind of late to reading as much as I read now. So there we have it. That's the books and life tag that Steve Donoghue created, and it was really fun going through this, kind of thinking through it beforehand, watching a few other people's takes, and answering it. It was quite fun, and there we have it. In terms of tagging, Steve has already tagged like everyone like in the world, I think, or at least on BookTube. So there's no one really left for me to tag. So I'll, just extend his invitation, I suppose. If you want to do it, you do it. Feel good about it, and I'm sure everyone watching, you do it, will enjoy hearing about your life and your books. Alright.